Erika Del Sordo. Welcome to today's Talk with Erika. Thank you so much for being here with me. Another fantastic show today. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel and, of course, all of my audio podcasts. And in the info or about me section, I'll have all of those links for you to find those. Now, today's show could save a life. In 2006, at age 17, Mike experienced sudden cardiac arrest. There was no AED on site, but fortunately for Mike, an EMT working nearby was able to get to Mike in time, performing CPR for 8 minutes and saving his life. Now, Mike Papale is the president and founder of In a Heartbeat, a Connecticut-based nonprofit with a mission to prevent death from sudden cardiac arrest and hypertrophic cardiomyopathy, HCM. Welcome, Mike Papale. How are you?
I'm good, Erika. Thank you so much for having me on.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So, the age of 17, you have a heart attack. Now, that is crazy to some people and even some doctors. It's just not something that, people go, well, that's too young. That can't happen. Oh, sure it can. So,
Yeah.
walk me through that day. What happened?
Yeah. Exactly what you said. I was a perfectly healthy, young 17-year-old guy that was a really competitive basketball player. Never had any signs or symptoms or health issues or anything that would have made my family think that I could have possibly had something wrong with my heart. And like you said, we didn't think that heart disease could even affect young people. We had no idea. But that particular morning, I woke up at about 6:30 in the morning. My younger brother and I, we went to a gym and went through a basketball workout. And at the workout, everything was really normal, completely fine. Nothing really stood out of the ordinary. We went through a really intense 90-minute basketball workout. And then after the workout ended, we went over to my dad's basketball camp. It was in a different building, and we walked in at about 8:15 in the morning. And I said hi to my dad, and I don't remember anything else from that day. So I have a memory loss for about 2 hours there and for 2 days after. But a bunch of stuff went on. We were counselors at the camp, so we're coaching the kids, doing drills. We were outside playing basketball with kids. And I don't remember any of that, but about 10:30, I was sitting on bleachers next to my friend, and I kind of face planted out of nowhere and hit the floor and went into sudden cardiac arrest. And I got really lucky because the only way you can survive sudden cardiac arrest is you need to get immediate CPR and to be shocked quickly with an automated external defibrillator. Like you said, there was no automated external defibrillator in the building. But when they did call 911, there was a man next door that received a call on his pager because he was a volunteer EMT. And he came over and provided CPR, saving my life until an ambulance arrived.
Talk about luck. That's amazing. Wow. I mean, that's a lot to go through at the age of 17, but you were very fortunate. There are some who just don't, or they're not fortunate. We were talking earlier briefly about, Bob Harper, fantastic workout dude. He's a personal trainer. He's just all into working out, and here he is having a heart attack in the gym, and an AED saved his life. And he says he'll never work out where an AED is not anymore, and we shouldn't either. But if someone knows CPR around you, that's also the best bet. I know some figures here. Approximately 1.5 million heart attacks and strokes occur every year in the U.S., as per the CDC, and more than 800,000 people in the U.S. die from cardiovascular disease. And again, a lot of people don't realize that, it can happen at any age, even younger than the age of 17. So when is it that you, inaheartbeat.org, you've got that fantastic organization that you created. Tell me, when did that come into existence?
Yeah, so we founded the organization in 2015. And it was something that we had always talked about doing as a family and amongst my friends. And, I was going through college. I was coaching college basketball, and it kind of got pushed to the back burner. But, we decided it was finally time to start it. And we didn't really know, we knew what we wanted to do. We didn't know where it was going to take us. So we knew that we wanted to donate AEDs. That was going to be a huge part of what we did. And we knew we wanted to support research that helped further the overall knowledge of hypertrophic cardiomyopathy. So we kind of started the organization, and it was going to be like a fun little part-time thing that we did whenever, we could find the time to contribute to it. As it, started to grow and we started to do more, I think the passion I know for me personally, and I think for everybody, just kind of greatened, and we expanded and we kind of grew our programs and we added new programs. And I'm happy to say that to date we've donated 129 AEDs, and we've raised $35,000 for research, and we're starting to add new programs in as well. But it's a huge passion of mine and a huge passion of everybody's that's a part of our board.
Where are you donating these AEDs? Is it school gyms? Is it regular gyms? Where are they going?
Yeah, so really anywhere and everywhere. We've donated to youth sports organizations, schools, like CrossFit gyms, religious institutions, boys and girls clubs, YMCA's. We've donated to families. Maybe there's a child that has a heart disease that might not have an implanted defibrillator yet, so it's suggested that they have an AED around. It's a big expense for a family to go out and buy one. So we've really donated to anyone. We don't really have super strict guidelines. We have an application on our webpage that organizations fill out. They hit submit. It comes to our email. And the only people I would say we don't donate to is like huge corporations that have the funds to afford it.
That makes sense. Okay. Well, that's very nice. What kind of advice, and I know that half the time you don't even know that you've got this issue. Like you said, you felt like a very healthy 17-year-old. So it's hard to kind of take care of an issue if you don't know there is one. What advice do you give young people, and if
Mhm.
just anyone for that matter? What advice to take care of yourself and maybe not have this happen?
Yeah, definitely. A couple things. So one of the things actually that we're working on now is implementing more ECG screening, electrocardiograms throughout the state of Connecticut, in the Northeast. Um, so we're going to be offering them for free. That's not necessarily an option for everybody across, the United States. But my suggestion would be a couple things. Number one is to listen to family history. So if there's anybody in the family who died suddenly or unexpectedly, who is known to be affected by heart disease, has died of a heart attack or experienced a heart attack, anybody in that family tree should be getting tested with a bare minimum of an EKG at a very, very young age. Personally, I would suggest anybody, does EKG testing, but that's, not everybody's able to do that. But definitely taking a serious look at the family tree and the family cardiac history. And if there's any sign of it, start that EKG screening at a young age. Pay really close attention to symptoms. A lot of times, as for me, being a young person that was training, if I ever got dizzy when I was working out, I just always would attribute it to, okay, I'm supposed to feel this way because I'm training at a really high level. But dizziness is a sign of heart disease and cardiac issue. So pay attention to the symptoms like shortness of breath, dizziness, heart palpitations, profusely sweating during workouts, passing out. Those things are signs of heart disease. So, those would be the two things I would say: is pay attention to symptoms, look at the family tree, and consider, bi-yearly, every other year, getting an EKG test.
That makes sense. Those are very good tips. Thank you for that.
Of
Your
course.
organization is inaheartbeat.org. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. So
Yes.
www.inaheartbeat.org.
Exactly.
If someone is looking to put an AED in their facility, they're not a big corporation. How do they go about maybe applying for one?
Yeah. Yeah. It's really easy. So if you just go to our website, like you said, inaheartbeat.org, we have a tab at the top of our page that says programs. And if you click AED donation program, it'll bring you right to a link with our application. We call it a grant application, but it's the shortest grant application I think out there. It takes about 5 to 10 minutes to fill out. As soon as the person hits submit, it'll come right to our email, and we will, we don't really turn people down. So we add them to a list and we donate them in the order that we receive them.
Okay. Well, that's fantastic. I know we were also discussing earlier, My cousin, Cindy Papale, and you guys have the exact same last name. And the
Yeah.
funny thing is, you're not sure how you're related.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. And she's got, I know she wanted to be on this call with us today and had a prior engagement, but she's got Experts in Pink. And of course, she does very well with her 3 books trying to teach people about how to take care of breast cancer,
Mhm.
at any age. I know that she was a part of an organization for a while that had I think the girl was 22 or 24 who had passed away from breast cancer. So again, these issues that a lot of people think that's only going to happen to someone over the age of 55. Well, it doesn't. Here you are having a heart attack at 17, and this poor girl had died before the age of 25 from breast cancer. So,
Mhm.
all things to take very seriously. And again, Cindy's book is Experts in Pink, and your organization in a heartbeat.org. So, do you collaborate with Cindy at all on anything or
Yeah,
come up with
we've
a book
talked. I
together?
mean, yeah, yeah. I mean, no, we've talked. We've connected a couple times about some of the work that we do, and one of the things that I try to make sure is that just people know and are aware of the work that we're doing. So if we can support them in any way, that they will reach out to us. So I know she's helped spread our organization's mission, and she's helped just make sure people are aware of what we're doing and aware of our cause. Because the bottom line is the more people that are aware of how young people are affected by heart disease and about cardiac arrest and about AEDs and CPR. Ultimately, that's what's going to save more lives. So, I wouldn't say officially on any project, but I know, she's definitely helped spread awareness of the work that we're doing.
That's fantastic. She's good like that.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
So I have a question to go back real quick when you're talking
Yeah.
about family history. How about in your family? Was there history of heart disease?
So looking back at it now, a couple of my dad's uncles we think passed away unexpectedly. I'm not quite sure if it was ever determined that it was a heart attack or cardiac arrest, but um, the interesting thing about the disease that I have, hypertrophic cardiomyopathy, is that it is a genetic condition, and my dad actually has the condition, but he didn't know until after I was diagnosed. So and to this day, it's never affected him a day in his life. That's what kind of makes the disease so scary, is that in a lot of people it lays dormant um, until, like, I might have developed it at a younger age, and it was dormant until the day of my cardiac arrest. And when they diagnosed me, they told my dad that, or my parents, that they needed to get tested because there was a chance one of them had it, and he does. So now that we are more aware of it, looking throughout the family tree and into the future, we will definitely be more prepared for, getting other people tested.
Yeah. What do you do on a daily basis at this point to kind of keep that at bay and keep your heart healthy?
Yeah, so I have an implanted defibrillator. It's an ICD, an implantable cardioverter defibrillator, and it basically serves as a pacemaker defibrillator that would shock me if it needed to. So if I went into cardiac
Wow.
arrest, basically at any moment, it's in my body, and it would read the heart rhythm, and it would shock my heart back to a normal rhythm. So that's the big thing. That's like the big for patients that are survivors and that want to be able to live a long and normal life with heart disease. Getting an ICD does help that. The other thing, I take medication. It's a beta blocker that controls my heart rate and my blood pressure. It's called Nadolol, and I take 40 milligrams of it twice a day, right when I wake up in the morning and right before I go to bed at night. But other than that, my life is really normal. I don't have to eat a specific diet. I work out. I'm a pretty active guy. I have a really normal life for a younger person, with a few restrictions, but for the most part, it's relatively normal, which is great.
That is awesome. Okay, I'm happy. That's wonderful. And what a success story coming out of what you went through to now.
Thank you. Yeah.
You have a great life. I love it. What advice would you give anybody, young, old? What advice would you give them?
Yeah. You mean heart disease patients or
Heart,
anyone in general?
well, anyone in general, heart disease patients. And then I know that we discussed, because there are a lot of
Yeah.
people out there who might have heart disease and they have
Yeah.
no idea.
Yeah, I mean, the first thing I would suggest, like we were saying before, is to get tested. So just to have knowledge that, we always believe that, like, having the knowledge of it is powerful. As hard as it is to come to terms with a diagnosis, especially if it's something that's never affected you before, and then all of a sudden you are diagnosed with this disease and feeling like, maybe your life is over, when it's not. But the not having the knowledge of it is what's going to keep you healthy and safe. And then from there, just believe that you can get back to living a normal life. It's not going to happen overnight. It takes time. You have to learn about the disease. You have to learn about your body. You have to learn about the right and wrong things to do that are going to keep you healthy. But once you get there, you can have a really normal life. And I think that's one of the things that is great about heart disease is that, once diagnosed, there are ways to manage it to live, normal longevity and, normal daily activity.
I love it. I can't thank you enough for being on with me. This quite possibly saved a life, maybe a few.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
thank you.
Hopefully. Yeah. 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 No, thank you so much for having me on.
You're welcome. It's inaheartbeat.org. I'm going to make sure that your website and all the links that we discussed are in the info and about me sections, and I'll have them up. This way everyone can see, and I hope a lot of people visit it because this is something that no one should take lightly. It's a very important topic.
Yes. Thank you very much.
You're welcome, Mike. Thank you so much for being with me. Thanks for listening to today's talk with Erika. Join me next week for another discussion with the experts who help make life easier. Please visit my website, erikadelsordo.com, where you'll find all of my social media platforms and more. And be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Once again, thanks for listening.